Welcome to another Google Tips and Tricks training video. Today, we're going to cover Google Jamboard. Google Jamboard is an interactive whiteboard that will allow you to create collaborative whiteboard documents. So we're going to go over today how to access Google Jamboard and how to create what they call jams. Those are those whiteboard documents that you can share. We're going to go over the basic features and how you might use this either as an employee at Hartnell College in a meeting or with your students in the online classroom. And we're also going to talk about how to share those documents with students or colleagues and how to determine what kind of sharing permission they need to be able to use your Jamboard. So let's dive in. You can access your Google Jamboard anytime as long as you're signed into Google somewhere. Like here, I'm signed into my Google Drive. And if I go up to the Google Apps icon, I'll be able to find it by scrolling down, and you'll see it here in your apps under Jamboard. This is what the icon looks like as of this recording. That stuff is always subject to change. So if it looks a little different, just look for the word Jamboard. Once you click on your Jamboard, you will be put into a space here where you can access all of your recent jams. You can create a new one by clicking on the add icon in the lower right. It says new jam when you hover over it. Once you're in your jam, you can give it a name. And this can be anything from, if this serves as meeting minutes, right, you can actually name it with your committee meeting and a date here if you'd like. You could also name it something like lecture notes or even the name of a specific lesson. However you would like to name it is just fine. Once you have it, you can set the background and you can add items to your Jamboard. So we'll go over each one of these options more in depth, but the gist is that you can freehand draw in lots of different pens and pen sizes and colors. You can obviously erase anything that you write on here. You can select items that are on this Jamboard and move them around. So you can put things like sticky notes or images, or you can put little shapes around items. You can also put a text box anywhere on this jam where you can type in items, or you can use this little laser pointer, which is just kind of like a fun item that does go away instantly. So this is really something that you would do if you were hosting a class or a meeting and you wanted to point something out. So let's go up to that top item. Let's set the background. So we have a couple of built-in options. We can do a grid with dots on it. We can do lined paper. We can also do graph paper, gray or white. We can also do colored, solid colored backgrounds, or we can find an image. So we can either find an image, so we click on the image icon, we can upload an image from our computer, we can take a photo with our camera, like if we have a built-in webcam, we can do a Google image search, which is a lot of fun, or you can find something in your Google Drive or in your Google Photos. So you have all these really great options. I am just going to find an image right now of a map of California. Now, do be aware that these are not necessarily copyright free, but usually you can use this stuff for educational purposes, but generally you're probably going to want to upload an image that you know is licensed for educational use. So for right now, we're just going to go ahead and grab one map right here, and we'll set it as the frame background. And then we can draw on this. So again, you don't have to pick an image. If you want just a big white space, that's fine too. But adding an image really brings another layer of complexity to your interactive whiteboard here. So I'm going to use a pen, and I can choose a pen, a marker, a highlighter, or a brush, like a paintbrush, and any of these basic colors. So I'm just going to do a freehand pen. I'm going to draw attention to an item here. I can also circle something. Again, this is totally freehand, so whatever you want to do. You can also, again, erase very quickly by clicking on erase and drawing, holding it, clicking and drawing on it this way. Now it won't erase your background image. Again, that's the purpose of having a background image, is that it doesn't get erased, which is really nice. So you can play around with all of these different options, and then you can do things like sticky notes. So you choose the color of your sticky note right here. So maybe we would say, I don't know, let's say we're doing a history class and we're talking about the 1800s. So I've added my sticky note and I can drag it. I can also tilt it if I wanted to. And this is just kind of a neat way that you can bring in sticky notes. So the way that you do it is you click on the sticky note, you enter in the text, and then you click save, and it goes right here onto your background, and then it allows you to create a new one. I don't need any more. I just created one, so I'm going to hit cancel, and now I have 2 sticky notes, which is fun. I can make it bigger, smaller, just click and drag. I can also duplicate this item if I wanted to. So this is really, really handy. If you want to edit the text, you're just going to double click on it. So maybe I would say 2021, something like this. Editing also allows you to change the color. So if you wanted to make this have no color at all, that's okay too. And now this is just kind of text that you can move around. This is very similar to the text box down here. We'll look at that in a second. But this is the basics for how sticky notes work. Now right here, we're going to get to the image. This is exactly what it sounds like. And it's just like we selected with the background image before. But this is not for the background image. This is for a separate image that you want to add to your whiteboard as a separate item. So again, you can upload it, take a picture with your webcam, do a Google image search, find something from your drive or from your folders. We're going to do California map. And we're just going to grab a different image and insert it. You can also just double click it to insert it, which is neat. And now we have the item right here. And that's actually a much lighter item than I expected, but that is okay. So you can do whatever you want with this, right? You can actually take this and move it around. You could also send this back behind this item. So this works in layers, right? We have this image which is sitting on top of these other items. But if we wanted to, we could actually adjust where this image is sitting. So we want this sticky note to be in front of this image. We would click these 3 dots, we would select the order, and we would send it backward. We may have to send it all the way to the back. And that for sure means we have that as an item that falls behind this one, which is kind of nice. You can always adjust this however you want. So you can make it so that this sits on top or however you want this to look. So that's inserting images. We can also insert things like circles or other shapes right here, which is really nice. We can actually bring an arrow in if we wanted to. And then we can choose what we want the border color to be. And we can choose what we want the fill color to be. So we can make this kind of a pink, pink looking arrow, or we can make it transparent so that way you can see through it. Either way is fine, totally up to you. Now we have our text box feature where we can click on it, and once we have it selected, we click anywhere on the page, and now we have a text box. You can do things to that text box, like choose the size. Do you want it to be the display name? Do you want it to be the title, subtitle. We want this to be normal text. We want this to be an image caption, whatever you would like to do here. And then you can choose your text color. And you can choose if you want this to be centered, left aligned, right aligned, however you want to do this. Of course, you can make it bigger or smaller by grabbing the corner and clicking and dragging. That's a really convenient feature. And that's pretty much it. You can also copy and paste directly onto your Jamboard, and this will hopefully make some math teachers very, very happy because you no longer have to type in your equations. And I mean, sure, you could draw them out if you wanted to. You could say, I don't know, 4x2, which is really nice. It's better if you have a touch screen. You will get better at this the more you do this. I'm sure you're a whole lot better at it now after the last year than you have been. And you can also go into an equation builder. So if we go to equationeditor.atomurl.net, you can actually create equations. You can choose the height that you want your image to have, and this is in pixels, so you do want it to be fairly large, and you can save it to an image. And when you do that, you'll get this image that you can either save by right-clicking on it, or you can just copy it, and then you can paste it directly into your Jam by holding down Control on your keyboard and tapping V as in Victor. That will paste your equation. So this is really nice, and you want it to be as large as possible when you do this, so that way it's not overly blurry. You can also clear your Jam frame at any point, which is nice. It doesn't clear the background, it just clears all the items. So we can actually set our background very quickly back to white, and we can paste that equation again by holding down Control and tapping V on our keyboards. And now we can use this to annotate or whatever we want to do here. So this is a really, really nice feature, this Jamboard item. This is a very fun, collaborative item that you can find a lot of use cases for, be it in the classroom or in a meeting or just a way that you can collaborate with your colleagues. So right now I've shown you what you can do with it. And this is just you making changes to this. So this is you on your computer adding things to your Jamboard, editing your Jamboard. But if you would really like to get collaborative, that's where you're going to need to share this item. Okay, just like anything Google related, right? We have to share it for other people to see it or to interact with it. So we will, if we do share this with our students and give them editing access, they will be able to solve a problem, right? By drawing, they'll have the same drawing tools, the same deleting tools, right? So they can erase things. They can also clear the frame. So they can do exactly what you can do when you give them editing access. I'll show you how to do that. And again, this is great for meetings because you can collaborate through Zoom and you can do all of your annotations, which is pretty cool, and do it together. So just be wary that, however you share this, either as view only access or with editing access, that's going to determine what people can do and if they can get rid of it, delete it, that kind of thing. Because yes, they could theoretically remove this Jam entirely, which would be very annoying for you, quite probably. So be considerate in how you want to share this. So we're going to go over these options as well. But for right now, we're going to click on Share. And you can share this item the same way you share anything else Google related, which is you type in the email addresses of the individuals that you want to share this with. You can also make your link more visible by going down here and clicking on these options, the change link to Hartnell College. So you can share it with anyone at Hartnell College. That's anyone that has an email address that ends in hartnell.edu. hartnell.edu. So it's not going to be visible to students. Okay, students' email addresses are their first initial last name at student.hartnell.edu. So Google doesn't actually see them as being a part of Hartnell College. That's just the way that it works. So you'll want to make sure that you share it with either people at Hartnell College, because you only want staff members, faculty members, administrators to be able to collaborate with you, or you can share it with anyone that has the link. So right now, if I change it to anyone with the link, then anyone that has the link to this jam will be able to view it by default. Okay, if you want them to be able to edit it, you'll click on this viewer item and click editor. And again, like I said before, if you give them editing access, they can delete the entire jam. Probably they won't, but it's possible that they will. So just be very careful with the way that you do this. Viewing access is usually appropriate unless you really want someone to collaborate in real time. So once you give them that link, once you change the permissions, now you can copy your link. This is a very long link and it goes to this jam. So you can copy the link, hit done, and now you're ready to share your link either in your Canvas course with your students or through email. You can paste that link into a Google Calendar invitation, like a meeting invite, and that way you can collaborate with people at the meeting. So however you want to do this, totally up to you. And once you're there, you're just about done. There are a couple more options I want to talk about, which is right here, right next to the share button. We have more actions, which allows us to rename our jam. We can also click on the title to do that. We can download it as a PDF. We can, and this is great, if you do download it as a PDF, go through that PDF afterwards and make it accessible, especially if you're going to post this on the website or if you're going to post it in a Canvas course. This does need to be made accessible. Google Jamboard does have a built-in screen reader support, which is great, but it doesn't allow you to add stuff like alternative text to describe your images and other basic accessibility features that we all know are so important. So download it as a PDF, add your image tags, headers, whatever your document needs to make it accessible, and then you'll be good to go. Same, if you do this as an image, if you save this jam as an image, that's okay. But keep in mind that if you're going to use that image on, say, the Hartnell website or in your Canvas course, you will need to give it appropriate alternative text, which is going to need to describe everything in your image. So this can be difficult to do. So I recommend downloading it as a PDF and then making it accessible that way. You can also remove this jam. Again, that deletes it from your drive entirely. And you can make a copy of it. This is a great way if you have an activity for students to do and you give them editing access to this. You can actually tell them to go to this document, hit the three dots, choose make a copy, and then they'll be able to copy the document into their own drive so they can make any edits they need. So this is useful as a template, but I highly recommend you have a backup in case you have the one student that starts, scribbling all over it because they get excited about it. Happens to all of us. So I hope that you're excited to use Jamboard in the classroom or in meetings, however you would like to collaborate or use this as a presentation tool. So if you would like to see any other Google related or other tutorials, check out hartnell.edu/PDC. Thanks for watching.